You ever feel stuck? Like no matter what you do, you're just not moving forward? It could be in your career, in your finances, or even your relationship. Well, I've got some news for you. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And that's a good thing. Hello, everyone. Pedro Pereira here again, and welcome back to another episode of Mi Camino, where I try to share some of my life experiences and some of the analogies or phrases or things that have helped me progress throughout my career and my life in a lot of areas. And I've noticed that when I share these, other people also kind of get it. They get that aha moment, and that's what this is all about: helping people, change their mindset somehow. Now, today's episode is based on one of the phrases I love to use. It's you are where you are because you are where you are. I know, a bit confusing, but just follow me on this one, right? If you really think about that phrase and you like slow it down, like sometimes when I'll use this, is someone will be kind of telling me what their situation, and basically I can sense that they're telling me they're super stuck, but they're stuck because of several things. People tend to blame circumstances like family, background, the economy, bad luck, but let's be honest. The truth is your past decisions, habits, and mindset have led you where you are. Hence, you are where you are because you are where you are, either mentally or financially or physically. You are in a certain situation because you have allowed part of you to be where you're at. But here's the beauty in that phrase. If you really break it down, and as much as it sucks to be able to look in the mirror and say, you know what, I've put myself in this situation, there's a beauty in it. There's a freedom in it. The moment you realize that the reason you are where you are, because you are where you are, you realize that it's up to you to take you where you want to be. It means you also have the power to change where you're headed. And that's the beauty of it. So let me share with you the 3 mindset shifts that are going to help you move forward. First, acknowledge your role in the situation. Take ownership. Instead of I can't get ahead because of X, basically blaming anybody but yourself, ask what have I done to keep myself here? Once again, there's a beauty in that because you take away the cause being something out of your control and bringing it home to where you can make the change. All right, let's start with money. Are you stuck because of your mindset or your habits? See, a lot of people think I'm broke because life is too expensive. Inflation is crazy. Instead of asking, what have I done to limit my financial growth? In layman's terms, why am I not making more money? And when I say that, I'm not saying like why in the universe I have not gotten more money. It's like, what have I done? What am I not doing that I'm not making more money? Here's a hard truth. If you believe making more money is impossible or only for lucky people, you're keeping yourself stuck. Instead, ask yourself, am I investing in skills or just surviving paycheck to paycheck? Am I growing? Am I looking for new ways to make money or am I just waiting for a raise? Am I avoiding financial literacy because it's uncomfortable? In other words, am I avoiding learning how to manage my money because I don't want to see how bad I am with it? See, the shift comes when instead of blaming the system or whatever, you learn how the game works and start playing it. Next, we move on to career. Are you waiting for a door to open or are you building one? If your career is stuck, the common mindset is no one's giving me an opportunity. Flip it. Have I done everything in my power to create an opportunity? Ask yourself, am I growing my skill set or am I waiting for someone to teach me? Have I expanded my network or am I only talking to the same people? Am I making moves or am I just comfortable where I am? See, the shift comes with instead of waiting, you start applying for new roles, networking, or creating your own path. Can't leave this one out. I also want to talk about relationships. Are you reacting or improving? See, people think my relationship isn't working because of the other person. We love to point fingers. But real talk, a relationship is a mirror. It reflects your own energy, actions, and communication. So ask yourself, am I showing up as the best version of myself? Or am I expecting the other person to fix everything? Do I communicate clearly? Or do I expect them to just know what I want? Am I growing as a person? Or am I just stuck in old habits? See, the shift comes with instead of blaming your partner or the lack of one, focus on self growth and clear communication. When I say clear communication, not only know what you want, but be able to communicate it clearly. All right, next, I want to go into the second mentality shift, which is you're not an NPC, you're the main player. I feel like a lot of us are in this world feeling like we're just another piece in the puzzle. like we're just some obscure invisible object in this life, and it's just passing us by. Shift that mentality. You're not an NPC. You're the main player. When you shift that mentality, now you want to play the game. If money is tight, don't just cut expenses. Find new ways to make money. If your career is stagnant, start developing new skills or build your own thing. If a relationship feels stuck, reflect on how you show up and communicate. Now, this last shift is super important. Commit to small, intentional changes. See, change doesn't happen overnight, but small actions compound over time. For example, if you want financial freedom, start by tracking your spending and reading a book on investing. If you want a better relationship or a relationship at all, start with understanding yourself. I would start with a personality test. Do one on yourself. Have your partner do one. These personality tests have some very interesting things sometimes. Some things that I feel like sometimes we thought about ourselves, but we weren't really sure. And once it's on paper, you realize that, yeah, this is me. Because sometimes those personality tests also they also identify how to deal with people like you, or why the tendencies that you have are present. And that's why I say it's a great way to start if you're trying to get a better relationship, by both doing a personality test and working on yourself separately. Because here's one key thing. You need to figure out what makes you happy, right? If you're constantly upset because your partner is not stepping up to make you as happy as you want to be, you need to flip that. You need to take ownership on that. Ask yourself, why do I need this? Why do I need that? Once you get to root cause on why you need certain things, you really get to sit there and think, do I really need them? If you want a new career, send the first email, apply, or build your own side hustle. It's not going to be easy. Nothing is. See, take anything that you like to do. Anything. And I tell this to people. Take anything you actually like to do and think about it when you first started doing it. You weren't that great, but the fact that you like doing it helped you stick with it, and eventually you got good at it, or at least good enough where you feel good about it. If you apply that with everything, where it's going to suck at the beginning, but eventually you're going to get there, it gives you hope that if you start taking small actionable steps, you'll eventually change those things that need to change. And by viewing things with this perspective of you are where you are because you are where you are, you start digging in, and you can isolate, you can break down what can change first. So let me give you guys an example. About a year ago, I got a call from a client, right? And she was going through a little rough time, not only with a divorce, but also life changing, right? With the divorce, there's a lot of changes going on. And she called me because she was trying to qualify for a home loan. She wants to get her own home. After going through the paperwork, after going through all her documentation, I had to give her the bad news that at this point in time, she didn't make enough to qualify for a home on her own. And I could feel her get deflated. She knew that this client worked at a school. And right away, I asked her the question. I'm like, well, is there any way you can make more money? And she tells me, well, I could go back to school and get my master's, and like that, I'll get a raise at the school. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, being in this business, I've seen my fair share of teachers, and you guys are so underpaid. It's like ridiculous. Ridiculous for what you guys do. You are way underpaid. It's not fair. But with that said, I know the salaries for teachers. And especially around these times, especially now, even with that salary on her own, she wouldn't be able to qualify. I kind of asked her the breakdown, like how much would you get in a raise? And when she shared with me that she had to go, I don't know, it was a really long time back to school, finish some stuff, and her raise was going to be marginal, I challenged her. I'm like, is that really the only route you can take? And her mindset was stuck. She started this career. She's a teacher. This is what she wanted to do. This is how she's making money. So she kind of, I guess, hit a dead end where she's like, well, this is what I got. I'm, well, look, I offered a mentality change, right? I'm like, think about it. Well, I told her, all right, you're telling me that, you're planning to go back to school for possible, maybe $10,000 raise. Let's call it lucky. She gets a $20,000 raise, which she wouldn't. But let's say you do get a $10,000 raise. That means you're going to go X amount of time back to school to be able to make that in a year. And one thing I offered her is like, look, how about we think of different ways to make money. Think about, what is something you like to do that you would do no matter if they paid you or not? Like a hobby, right? And she shared with me that she liked to, I think it's called crocheting, right? On her spare time, she liked to crochet. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Like, do you think you can make money with that? And right away, she told me, no, I'm not good enough. That's where I offered the mentality shift. Wait a minute. I'm like, what do you mean you're not good? And I know, well, like I just do it for me. I'm not really like that big. Well, what would it take to be good enough? And she stopped. It's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, okay, why do you feel like you're not good enough? Well, I just do small pieces. I haven't really looked in, like, I don't do anything extravagant. All right. So you're saying you have to do something really special to be able to make money with it, right? How hard would it be to learn to do those special things? And she answered, well, it would take me hours of practicing and, watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. And why wouldn't you be able to do that? And she stayed quiet. And this is when I brought this up. Right now, you're willing to go back for hours, months, possibly years, to get a $10,000 raise per year. But if you spend that same amount of time improving something that you already like to do, and you improve it to a point where you can start making some money off of it, wouldn't that be possible? See, all we're doing is exchanging your time. Your mentality was, I want to exchange my time for more education so I can continue improving the career that doesn't pay a lot. But what if I asked you to shift your mentality to put your time and dedication into something that not only you like doing, but can potentially make you money? I think I skipped that part. I asked her, like, to make money, like the extravagant things. You're like, well, how much were they making? And she kind of shared. She shared the amount, and I was like, wouldn't that help? Say an extra $1,000, $2,000 a month? Yeah, that would definitely help. Okay, imagine you could spend the same amount of time. Because going to college, you know how much time you're going to spend. You got to spend this amount of time away from your family, away from everybody. Not only that, the drive, the cost of driving to, here, the local college campus. All that cost you're going to accrue to be able to make an extra $10,000. Imagine if you just shifted it from putting it into something that it's yours, that you're in control with. And maybe it's not crocheting. But what I was trying to point out is that by shifting your mentality, a whole new world opened up for her. Where her original thought process was just, I got to go back to school to make more money. I exposed that how investing more time on something that could be lucrative is going to pay off better. Because you are doing the same when you guys decide to go back to school, because that's going to improve your careers. You're putting the same amount of time into something else that you don't even want to learn. Well, some of you do. Imagine if you just shift that and put it into yourself. It happened to me personally. Unfortunately, it happened way later in my career, but I spent 13 years in a company. And for the first, I want to say 11 of them, I felt like I just kept on getting lucky. That whatever promotion they're getting me was just because it was luck. And it wasn't until I realized that it wasn't luck. It was because I was efficient. I was good. I would get things done. Meaning I could do that same stuff that I was doing for them. I could do it for me. And that's all I'm saying. We need to shift our mentalities. We need to think better of ourselves. We are where we are because we are where we are. So we need to change where we at to get us where we're going. Thanks again for tuning into this episode. If you like this video or found it useful, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share it. Share it with people that you feel will also receive this message and it'll help them shift their mentality. All right, guys. Catch you on the next one. Later.